Well, yes, we do have the #1 podcast in golf, and I know you're all dying to learn more about it. What would you say was kind of our breakthrough moment, really, in the show?
Well, Geoff, let me tell you, the first thing, the most important thing, is to be handsome. You start with handsome, and then from there, preparation, I would say.
Watching the golf?
Key. Watching the golf.
PGA Tour?
Feet up, a lot of feet up. That's the other important thing, I would say. Also, food placement. Very key to a successful podcast. Chips to the right.
Yeah, quick question, Shackhouse. Where does Bill Simmons constantly pimping your show to a gazillion Twitter followers play into your secret sauce?
Bill Simmons?
Don't you have a show to do?
Oh, live show? No script? Shackhouse? What could possibly go wrong? Good to see you. This is Callaway Live. I'm Harry Arnett. Do you know how I know that? It said it before I came out here. We have to keep it G-rated. We have some little people in the audience tonight. So keep it very G-rated, which means I'm going to go ahead and introduce Amanda Balionis right over here in the XR bar.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're only serving milkshakes, milk in sippy cups tonight. Is that cool with you guys? No, they say. All right. Okay, well, it may not be milk and it may not be sippy cups. So thanks, everybody, for being here. This is going to be an awesome show. We have Geoff Shackelford here. We have Joe House here. Together, they formed Salt and Peppa. Do you guys remember that from the... No, I'm just joking. Shackhouse, a gazillion downloads of their podcast so far. That's a real number. I looked it up. 1 gazillion. That's one. You know how many zeros are after a gazillion? Gazillion, exactly. So 1 gazillion downloads, and they launched this podcast, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and it really took the golf industry by storm. One of the things that people started to, I don't know, maybe criticize a little bit was a little overindulgence in the Callaway branding and commercial reads on their show, which we loved. But these guys are pros, and they're the ones that actually brought them to us because we were giving them very generic reads. They're just such professionals. Check out Joe House, how he lives his everyday life as he's on the telephone doing his real job.
So look, we got to liquidate our position in this stock. It's maximized its performance. We're in the black on the ROI. Speaking of black, did you know that Callaway has released Apex irons in an all-black finish? That's right, my man. Same premium performance you've come to trust from the #1 iron in golf, now available with a special satin finish, a black shaft, and a black grip.
Very smooth, very natural, and kind of easy for Joe. You can see he's a natural sales guy. A little bit more difficult for Geoff Shackelford to do these, but he's also very professional as he's doing his media job, talking to tour players, slipping in the live reads that we've slipped in there. Check this out.
All right, so a few more questions for you. Your ability to change your game has clearly been the key to your recent victory on tour. Is that right? Oh, really? All right. Really? Oh, wow. Hey, wait a second. You know, before you answer that, speaking of changing the game, how about that new Chrome Soft from Callaway? Have you heard about that? We talked about it on the Shackhouse podcast. It's the ball that changed the ball. It has a new dual soft fast core. Provides increased distance through the bag and soft, amazing touch and feel around the green. Go to CallawayGolf.com right now. Oh, so you said about 15?
All right, that's Shackhouse. We're going to find out just how good these guys are at pimping our product in a little bit. Stick around. We'll be right back with Shackhouse.
I don't always watch TV, but when I do, I never watch Callaway Live. Harry and the gang will be right back with you.
Travis Fulton here, another Callaway 30 seconds to better. Gonna talk fairway woods here. XR16, known for ball speed. If you want more ball speed, hit the 16 and also get the ball position in the right spot. So here's what I want you to do. Put your feet together. Take your front foot, flare it out a little bit. Take a little step. Big step with the right. You've got the ball position now in the right spot for better ball speed.
Welcome back to Callaway Live. I'm Harry Arnett. can watch a bunch of other content just like that with Travis Fulton on our new Apple TV app. If you guys watch that on our Apple TV channel. Do you guys have Apple TV? Anyone? Yeah. What? You guys are so cheap. It's like 99 bucks. Go get it. Come on, we have our own channel there now. I'm going to test you next time I run into you. But our guests tonight, as we mentioned before, you guys know Geoff Shackelford from years and years and years of having one of the most popular websites in all of golf, geoffshackelford.com. He's a contributor to Golf Digest. He's a contributor to the Golf Channel. You also know Joe House, who has been a contributor to the Bill Simmons podcast for years and years and years. Put them together, and what do you have?
Shackhouse.
Right. Let's try this. Shack.
House.
Shack. All right, we're going to edit that out. That was terrible. Please welcome to the show Geoff Shackelford and Joe House, a.k.a. Shackhouse. Hey there. There, guys. There, guys. Well, I don't know what you were doing there. What was that all about? You need to do a bro hug. Have a seat. Yeah. So you guys wanted to do a podcast. I'm curious, how did this even happen? Because you're sort of like the odd couple to me. You got Geoff. I mean, look at Geoff. He was ironing his jeans when we saw him earlier at the test
Now
center.
that I take personally. Don't you? When I do that, there's something wrong.
Joe, no socks for Joe today.
California, cool, bro.
Is that what this is?
I mean, you had the surfer on earlier the week, and you know. Yeah.
So both of you had kind of in separate parts of the world an idea that the world really needed a golf podcast that everybody would listen to and like, huh?
Well, golf, like most things, is usually a little bit behind, and podcasting was one of those things where there weren't a whole lot of podcasts. And Bill Simmons has a certain audience and vibe about what he does, and we wanted to kind of pick up on that and be, we're fans. Even though I do media work and I'm supposed to not be rooting, and there's supposed to be no rooting in the press box kind of thing, that's nonsense. If you don't view golf as a fan and write about it and cover it as a fan, people are going to know that, and they're not going to really enjoy it. And I think that's why Bill resonates. Right?
Yeah, that's right. And the thing that was super compelling about it. Now, first of all, Simmons called me up and he's like, "What do you think about golf?" I love it. I'm in. That was my answer.
You were outed. You were a closeted golfer.
That's right.
Nobody knew in the world of sports. They were shocked to find out he was a golf nut.
But was golf cool, like in the world that you were involved in Bill's world, which is all, mainstream sports, kind of the big four, and a lot of pop culture? Golf, not so cool a lot of times to those kind of guys.
But the stories are always cool, right? So Bill's been a golf fan his whole life, and we, on his podcast, he started doing podcasts in 2007 before there was even such a thing. I don't even know if the internet existed then. But he would often talk golf stories because Tiger was doing his thing through a stretch there. Phil was pretty good for a stretch in there. And so golf has always been, it's not basketball, which is like our bread and butter, and Simmons in particular, or football, but there's always been great stories in golf. And the thing that made this podcast such a great and obvious idea is, like, we should be doing an irreverent kind of fan perspective on golf in a podcast, because nobody was doing it.
Yeah, and I really love the fact that Bill threw out right out of the gate, there are 0 good golf podcasts. that was really cool. We were like, wait a second. Yeah. Right out of the gate.
Set the bar a little bit
out
high,
of the gate.
especially because we know that the Callaway golf podcast is sensational.
Exactly.
Right, AJ?
Exactly. Brought to you by Chrome Soft. The only ball. No, I'm just kidding. But so right out of the gate, though, you guys #1 on iTunes for podcasts in the first week of your existence. That had to blow you away.
It blew me away. I had no idea that honestly, and I'll have a quick, sincere, earnest moment. Power. All credit to Simmons. For a guy that had spent a lot of time building a brand and a whole career, and really working with ESPN to develop something, starting out on his own, and he working with us had the idea, and you guys, of doing something in golf, and we jump in and right away, right to the top. Yeah, it was a big surprise.
Are you tearing up right now?
I just wanted to have a little, one sincere moment. That's all.
So what's been the biggest surprise to you about how it started and obviously working with Joe, because you had never met Joe before you guys really started talking on the phone and deciding to do this?
Actually, we were discussing this on the way over. I think the biggest surprise...
Was it tender? I think it was tender, was it not?
No.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh, sorry.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
we have, I think, found Bill's brand that's so beloved and respected by his followers. I think that, and then the people he surrounds himself with are amazing, but I don't think they realized that golf is very popular, has a passionate following, and is something that's interesting to talk about. So I think we shocked them a little bit, and I mean, we've gotten a lot of great feedback from people who didn't realize that Golf Talk could be interesting, and I think maybe even Bill might be a little bit surprised. On his podcast, he makes comments to that effect. So, and then obviously,
This is a little condescending. I mean, come on, isn't he about golf? Come on.
Well, a lot of people who are into other sports, yeah, they do. We know that as golf people, that there's always that thing we have to overcome with people who love other sports, that they don't think golfers are athletes. And then, of course, we know, though, that the greatest athletes in the world think the world of golf, because once they try it, they realize how incredible the game is and how difficult it is. And then, of course, it's helped, too, having some of the Golden State Warriors be such amazing ambassadors for basketball and golf right now.
And the President of the United States.
That guy,
He
too.
likes the game, I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was walking around with House at a golf tournament. I can't remember. It was the Masters. And so we walked in, and, you know, I of course know you because we've met through this stuff, and then also listening to you for years with Bill's stuff. We couldn't go more than 20 feet without people, House! And I was like, how do people know you? And you're like, I have no idea. So that, I mean, is it weird, like, where you go around and people, like, recognizing you? Of course, Jeff gets stuff thrown at him at golf tournaments a lot of times.
I understand that. That makes sense. Yeah, sure, it's weird. Of course it's weird. But we've been doing it for a long time. You know, that 2007 on the podcast, but I had been a character in some of his writing, even, you know, going back to the late 90s, early 2000s. And there have been moments over the years where we would be, you know, our pictures would be taken at things, and he was on TV for basketball. So there was a couple times where in the Grantland world, with the website that he founded, we did a couple video series, including one where my love of food was shown to the world.
Exposed.
Yeah. Right.
In graphic fashion.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And so I got some recognition. People started to put a face with a name, and so that's kind of how I think people come to recognize me.
Well, golf is going to be, I think, interesting for you to be covering, and Jeff knows this too, because a little bit of your story of sort of being an outsider that kind of invaded the sport. And Amanda and I were talking about this as we were kind of listening to the podcast, because Amanda kind of went through the same thing, is being an outsider in the game is kind of a different thing to be, and in our sport in particular, because we're really resistant to folks from the outside commenting or being a part of the game.
Yeah, I think it's almost like starting out in New York. You can't fake knowledge to New Yorkers. They know if you're fake right away. Golf fans are the same way. They're fanatics. So, Joe, was it intimidating for you to enter into this space where you either knew your stuff or you were going to sink? And how did you kind of prepare for that? Because you knew Shackelford already. Here he got off to a head start, right?
Yeah. I would say he had a 25-year head start.
Small head start.
Honestly, the opportunity to get on the phone and talk with Geoff. We met over the telephone, me in Washington, D.C., him out here in California, and we had a couple of conversations, and we just went right in on sort of topics of the day in those early conversations, and to his great credit, he took away quite a bit of the apprehension that I felt. I was intimidated, no two ways about it, about jumping into this thing for the very reason that Harry just described. But Geoff and I hit it off, and you know, I do have a pretty deep love for the game, and I've been an avid consumer of all things golf, so I was able to hold my own a little bit with him. and that made it, go down a little bit easier.
During Masters Week, you told us that when Bill was on the Shackhouse podcast, he mispronounced a lot of names early on with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Carl Schwartzel, was it?
Schwartzel.
Yeah. Carl.
Yeah, we're big fans of Carl.
Carl. But did you ever have, I know I certainly had those moments. Have you ever had those moments where you kind of misstep a little bit?
With
just
him?
Like, whoa. Yeah, or on the air.
I mean, I still don't know how to say is it Spieth or Spieth? I still have an issue with that one. Jordan. Got it. But otherwise, no, we're cool.
But to your point about golf and the inclusiveness thing, on one show, he confused the PGA of America and the PGA Tour. And that's a mistake that Sports Illustrated made until about 3 years ago.
Is there a difference?
Constantly. And a few people said, wow, where did you find this guy? He doesn't know the difference. I'm like, half the people in golf couldn't tell you the difference between those two organizations. That's not a big deal. Relax. But that kind of speaks to that weird clubby.
Because if he wasn't part of your podcast, he'd be killing you right now.
I'd be fine.
No, come on.
And you got it. It's good to be kind of the outsider because you can say a lot of things that are provocative, and he's the one that has to pick up the slack for you because he's out on tour.
Well, and the dirty secret is I hit him up for the stuff of all the things that he can't say, and then I get.
He sends you over a list of like, okay, here's all the things you got to talk about today because I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, like that guy Jordan. We had a little conversation about this.
Yeah.
We think he could use a little loving. I mean, he's so.
Did we?
He's
I
so
don't remember
frustrated. Why is
discussing
he
that
so
with you.
frustrated? What's wrong with the guy?
I'm not sure I'm familiar
with that. I shot 64. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea.
I have an idea too. Let's go to a break and we'll be right back with Shackhouse right after this.
So this drill is called the spiral, and I do that quite often in my practice. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 foot, one ball on each, and I have to make them all consecutively to complete the drill. So you just gotta pick your line and make sure you hit a good putt. And then you move on to the next one. And this is the fun one, because if I don't make this one, I have to start all over again. But with a white hot RX, you don't have to start over again.
Welcome back, Callaway Live. Harry Arnett, Geoff Shackelford, Joe House, Shackhouse. The dynamic duo. Henrik. What a crazy guy. That guy. Do you love that about golf? Just how, like, the stupid things people do on the golf course to try to figure out how to swing a golf club?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's part of the grand beauty of the game. The thing that I would like to learn at some point, maybe somebody here from Callaway could teach me, is the bouncing the ball on the wedge and the swing. I mean,
what was the groan? What was that groan?
It's a tough one.
Can you do that one?
No.
Are you
no,
anti
you don't
the
want
trick
anybody.
shot?
What do you
over the trick
mean?
shots?
I love the trick shots. I admire that ability, but it's a talent.
Don't
it's
you
not
guys?
easy.
Aren't you friendly with Dude Perfect?
Oh, yeah.
Where are those
Absolutely.
guys?
They're
Should
good.
be here.
Yeah,
They're good.
blowing up.
The
And the Bryan
are
brothers?
pretty unbelievable at it, too.
I've heard that.
I think that is the thing that they do that people don't realize how hard it is to do that, and then they start throwing all around and through the legs, and then the one that Gary Williams on Morning Drive, whenever we show those, just flips out about is the way one of the Bryan brothers then hits the driver somewhere, midway in the air and just belts it. 220, 250.
Always on the first take, too, Geoff. There's no editing involved in that at all.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like there's any topic that is not on the table for you guys to talk about on Shackhouse? Is there ever anything that you're like, hey, when you guys are talking about it, it's just, hey, I don't want to touch this one? Before the break, I would say there can't be.
Yeah.
I mean, but is there anything that Geoff just beat out there?
Really, there can't be? Let me try. Let's see. Is this going to be edited?
Sure. No, but do you ever? There's no editing here.
I haven't. No, I can't think of anything at the moment really that's so far. I mean, if we got into dreary stuff like drug testing and all that, and something happened, but no, we really have kind of. I mean, I just started blabbing on the last show about some stuff with Donald Trump and something I haven't even written yet, and I saw somebody, Yahoo turned it into an article, and I went, oh yeah, maybe I need to watch what I say a little bit more, although I stand by what I said on the show.
Yeah.
But I can't really.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think the whole point is to be candid and to give our takes. You know, sometimes they might be a little warm, sometimes they're hot takes, but to give our takes on really every single thing. Like if we were doing a show this coming Monday.
So at this point in the program, Joe House said something extremely provocative and controversial, so we had to edit it out. Now we bring you back into Callaway Live.
So what about, like, you guys were very vocal about the course setup at the TPC, and you heard anything about that, Geoff? Anybody from the tour call you wanting to know, hey, keep it on the D-low?
No.
Yeah.
Actually, the opposite, because I talked and wrote about it quite a bit. I was very supportive of them because I watched them work setting up courses, and they are unbelievable. I mean, these guys will go out and worry. They'll see putts diving too much of the hole, and they'll change a cup. They're not like certain other organizations based in Far Hills, New Jersey, that tend to do things that I think they actually enjoy doing that. But so I actually was very supportive of them and heard from them as say thank you for doing that, because I really truly believe that it just was one of those things. It got away from them. The weather was not what they expected, and greens were already really quick, and so. But I love those kinds of course setup boondoggles because they're entertaining, and you get to hear players gripe about things and get nasty. And but I did feel bad for them because I know in their hearts they do not want to embarrass the players.
Well, we thought that too, and we thought we would do the course setup guys a big favor because we kind of feel like they're running out of stuff to try to make the course harder for players. And now, you know, you really can't do a whole lot. Guys are hitting it really far, and I know, Geoff, you're a fan of the advancement in technology.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really can't do much. So we decided, Amanda, right, that we were going to take a crack at maybe some new ideas.
Can I just say we all need
toughen it up.
We need to hand out bulletproof vests for the next Callaway Live. There's so many shots fired happening right now from everyone in this area. So let's try and.
More in this area, really, than over here. I just want to point that out.
Easy for you to say.
More fun.
Behind the bulletproof bar.
That's all I have right now. I'm in the safe zone. Okay, so we came up with ideas of how to make courses tougher without affecting the greens. So we just.
Okay.
So we don't need fast greens to make things challenging. So we want to hear your hot takes on these ideas. If this would maybe fly on JeoffShackelford.com.
Sure.
Perhaps. Okay. All right. So the first one. You mentioned Donald Trump, so we'll start with Donald Trump. We'll talk about Doral, the 18th. What are your thoughts of, you know, Trump likes things really big, right? He likes big fountains. He likes big, huge.
He really likes the
fountains. That's Donald Trump impersonation. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah. Big walls.
Yeah. What do you think about putting up a big wall on 18? Take a look.
Beautiful
right
wall.
Behind you.
Yeah, let's see it.
Right behind you. It's coming.
There's no wall there.
I see it over there.
All right.
Oh, wait.
The wall's there.
There it is.
Hey.
Delayed reaction. We had to build
That is not
you like
the kind
that?
of wall that the Donald would. His would be beautiful. There'd be gold trim. That'd be paid for by Mexico.
That's a
that
great
just
point.
doesn't really.
That'd be tough, though.
Yeah.
You'd have to, I don't know what you'd do there if you got on the other side of the wall. You have to hit a giant flop shot.
Nice.
Or something like that. You say
So
no
yay
to
or
that?
nay?
No to
Yeah,
this?
that's a yay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yay
okay.
for the wall.
Big wall.
Okay. All right.
Split. He says nay, I say yay.
What else do we got? Any
So-
of these any funnier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, you're the one that came up with them, Mary. So I don't know what to tell you.
Wow. That's only the first
House,
one.
you mentioned a little bit earlier your love for eating. So
yes.
we thought we would take this a little bit further. And what do you think about before guys tee up, they would have to have an eating contest before they play 18 holes?
I think there's some guys on tour that would welcome that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not to name names, but
not to name names, but you know,
I don't know if that's just perspective or not, but are those giant hot dogs? What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're giant or not, but I would like one.
How many hot dogs, House, could you put down in 5 minutes?
I'm not one of those dudes. I'm a grand consumer.
But pretend you
over
were.
time. Like 5. I'm not a speed eater. I'm not a speed guy. I'm a
We had lunch today.
volume guy.
True story.
I'm a
we had lunch
volume
today
guy.
in the cafeteria, here, our 5-star cafeteria, and
It was great.
everybody gets a salad soup. I'm looking over, and he has prime rib for lunch. And before I could even get a third of the way through my salad, he had downed the entire prime rib and was going back for seconds. They have a beer mile, actually. Do you know about the beer mile?
Yeah,
so they should have a
that would be great.
extreme
Now
eating
we're talking.
Yeah.
golf tournament.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so yay or nay to the
That's a-
eating contest?
Strong thumbs up.
Strong yes.
Give it a
Jeff?
yay if they eat and then you spin them around a few times and then they tee off. I think
Oh,
that'd
you're
be
just
more
mean.
fun.
You're mean. Okay, next
Vomit never hurt
one.
anybody.
I know you guys love all the fashion that's been going on currently on
Yeah.
the PGA Tour.
Love the
Jeff,
joggers.
especially, you love the joggers, you love the high tops.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, what if we put mirrors on the first tee?
Okay.
Take a look at that.
Oh, nice.
You like that?
And these guys, they kind of love themselves
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Look, I'm going to give another strong endorsement of this one. I wish they had this on Saturday for Rory.
Yeah.
Because if he could have seen himself and how ridiculous he looked in
Yeah.
those poofy pants.
Oh, no. You
I
don't
will
know.
say-
God,
Here he goes.
Rory.
I will
Clean
say,
it up.
I like that look, but he did not execute it well at
You
all.
guys don't be. I think if somebody's
All right.
paying you, you can wear
Right,
whatever
you know what's
want.
great about those mirrors, though? That's just ripe for a temper tantrum and somebody to just absolutely swat away at those. That'd be great
Yeah,
television.
right.
That would be great.
I would. I have body image issues.
And then they
so I
get
would wanna see
7 more
that.
years of bad luck, right?
I'm going
Okay,
thumbs
yay,
down.
yay or nay
Thumbs
with the
down.
mirrors?
Yeah,
I'm going thumbs
absolutely.
down.
Harry's thumbs down.
Thumbs
going
down?
thumbs
Thumbs
down.
down?
I don't like that.
I
Okay,
don't,
get the mirror out of here. That's a terrible idea. Whoever thought of that. Okay, last one. Courtesy cars. You know these guys have it really rough. They're driving around these
I
beautiful
feel like
new
this
cars.
one is really going to mess with the players because
Okay.
they are a little bit particular
Right.
about having everything.
They can be very
pampered,
diva-esque.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is normally what the guys roll off
Nice,
into the
huh?
tournaments
That's
in,
pretty
right?
nice. Yeah.
What if we made it more challenging by putting them in, drumroll,
J-Rod's used luxury rides.
J-Rod's
Yes.
used luxury rides.
You like that?
That's right.
Wow, how did you slim him down so much?
I mean, couldn't you see like Danny Willett or something
photoshops
riding
his
in
own
the orange
photos.
car there, pulling in?
Can you imagine the complaints if they didn't have air conditioning going to the course?
I know. You thumbs up on this one? Why not?
I like it. I'm worried that the clubs wouldn't let them get anywhere near it, right? They wouldn't make it through security.
I like it because that car, when the players leave it at the airport, when they're really cranky and they're rude, and many players have been known to leave them curbside, apparently thinking the transportation ferry is going to come pick them up. That one will stand out a little bit more.
Okay, so yay or nay to the J-Rod's used luxury
yeah,
rides
definitely
courtesy
a yay.
vehicles?
Yeah,
That's
and
a big
again,
yay.
great Photoshop
Skinny
by
Jeff.
J-Rod.
Yeah, I said it. All this really in
trim
the
a lot
spirit
of
of
that.
just leave the golf courses alone. Don't trick them up. Let's just try to
That
do
would be
other
nice.
things
Yeah.
around it.
Yes.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. So what's next for Shackhouse? What are you guys looking out over the future? How many podcasts we got left for the rest of the year here?
A bunch.
16 or
Yeah,
so,
16
something
left.
like that,
Yeah.
or 15, 16, and we're trying to get some guests. We want to expose some people to the golf world that maybe you don't, or maybe you love golf or work in golf, but kind of show sides to them that may shock you a little bit in terms of how much they love the game or what they do. So I don't know if we want to mention names yet. We're gonna work on that.
Yeah, we have
And-
some good names, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do that here at Callaway Live. We got a great list of guests lined up for the rest of the year. Thank you very much. Maybe Shackhouse will come back. How do we find the podcast, by the way? I know how to find it. How would you recommend
Any
people find it?
podcast app, anything on iTunes, just Google, just search.
I'm not going to yell it.
Do it.
Shackhouse.
Shackhouse!
There you go.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong. You'll
We have
find
it on our website
iTunes
as well.
is great, but Stitcher,
Yeah,
SoundCloud,
Callaway.com.
Overcast app is great.
CallawayGolf.com.
Yeah,
Weather.com.
pretty much.
No,
yeah.
not
yeah.
on weather.com.
Yeah.
All right, well, we appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Harry.
Jeff. We're going to hug it out. Come here, Jeff. There we go. I love it. All right, well, there we go. Next week, we got Ted Bishop on the show. Thanks for watching. Shackhouse. See you next time on Callaway Live. Thanks. That was awesome, bud. Two-timer. You're a first two-timer. Are we the first two guests? First time ever, yeah. That was fun. I like that. Did you have to buy another chair? Huh? Did you have to buy another chair? We have another. We have a winner.